educate the consumer and highlight their rights, duties, and responsibilities. Commerce Department of St. Thomas College, Colonseri 2021-23 MCOM batch presents Wake Up Consumer Wake Up.
National Consumer Day. Every year, 24th December is observed as National Consumer Day with a specific theme in India. On this day, the Consumer Protection Act 1986 had received the assent of the President. The Act aims to provide consumers with effective safeguards against different types of exploitations such as defective goods, deficiency in services, and unfair trade practices. Consumer Protection Act 2019. The Consumer Protection Act 2019 is in force from 20th July 2020. The Act will empower consumers and help them in protecting their rights through its various notified rules and provisions like Consumer Protection Councils, Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission, mediation, product liability and punishment for manufacture of sale of products containing adulterant or spurious goods. The Act includes establishment of the Central Consumer Protection Authority to promote, protect and enforce the right of consumers. The Central Consumer Protection Authority is a regulatory authority and shall be empowered to impose penalties, recall goods, cause withdrawal of services, provide refund and investigate into matters. The objectives of Consumer Protection Act are:
right to safety. The consumer have the right to be protected against the marketing of goods and services which are hazards to life and property. Producers need to strictly follow the required safety rules and regulations. There are many goods and services that we purchase that require special attention to safety. Right to safety gives consumer the right to be protected against goods and services that can be dangerous to life or property. Right to safety ensure that the consumer have a way to demand justice from those who can harm them. Means right to be protected against the marketing of goods and services which are hazards to life and property. The purchased goods and services availed of should not only meet their immediate needs but also fulfill long-term interest. Before purchasing, consumers should insist on the quality of product as well as on the guarantee of the products and services. They should preferably purchase quality marked products such as ISI, Hugmarks, etc. For example, a consumer should check a gas cylinder for leakage at the time of purchase. It is important to issue instructions to make people aware. Gas cylinders should be checked and weighted. It is also said that cylinders should be made in standard specification so as to ensure that consumers are not misled by different measurements.
Have you ever read this page? Please do check it. It clearly states the rights of the consumer and the things to be remembered at the time of delivery of a gas cylinder.
Right to be informed. The right to information is defined as the right to be informed about the quality, quantity, potency, purity, standard and price of goods or services as the case may be, so as to protect the consumer against unfair trade practices in the Consumer Protection Act of 1986. The meaning of right to be informed as provided under Consumer Protection Act 1986 as follows. First, it is a right of the consumer to get information about the ingredients used, price, batch number, date of manufacture, expiry date, address of the manufacturer, etc. of a product. Second, this information helps the consumers to choose the best product after comparing the information given for different products. It helps the consumers to use the product effectively. Third, it comprises with the right of the consumers to be informed and to seek remedy through courts. Fourth, consumers can complain and ask for compensation or replacement if the product is found to be defective. Similarly, consumers can protest and complain if someone sells goods at more than the maximum retail price. Examples of right to be informed. Do we check the expiry date of bread? Most of the people are not check these facts. If a product is sold after its expiry date, a replacement can be claimed. One can protest if goods are being sold at a price more than MRP. If the good is not marked on a package, customer can ask for a written statement of goods.
Right to choose. Right to choose means to be assured wherever possible of access to variety of goods and services at competitive price. In case of monopolies, it means right to be assured of satisfactory quality and services at a fair price. It also includes right to basic goods and services. This is because unrestricted right of the minority to choose can mean a denial for the majority of its fair share. This right can be better exercised in a competitive market where a variety of goods are available at competitive price. The consumer can decide which goods to buy, which are of satisfactory quality and available at reasonable prices. Access the information available on various alternatives for the product and services under purchase consideration. Compare specification, competition and fair prices of goods and services before finalizing on the purchase. Study various feedback or reviews of the product or services.
Right to be heard. As stated in the Consumer Protection Act in 1986, the right to be heard and to be assured that consumers' interest will receive due consideration at appropriate forum is the definition of the right to be heard. This right helps to empower the consumers of India for putting forward their complaints and concerns fearlessly and raising their voice against product or even companies and ensure that their issues are taken into consideration as well as handled expeditiously. However, till date, the Indian government has not formed even one outlet for hearing the consumers on their issues to be sorted out. There are a number of websites striving to do this. The major objectives of consumer is to ensure that their voices are heard by the corporate world. There is a website consumerdaddy.com where consumers can upload their criticism as well as file complaints. Every criticism filed gradually lessens the overall score of the product which is being criticized. Each complaint is independently checked by an investigator who belongs to consumerdaddy.com website. This provides the consumers the benefit of doubt always, so their voice is considered over that of the company. It is considered that the consumer is the king. In case a consumer makes an allegation regarding the product, the onus goes to dealers or supplying company or manufacturers to disprove that allegation is not true. To be precise, the consumer is heard and the load of proof goes to company. Various attempts are made by the government for empowering the citizen with this right, and is believed that about 10 to 15 years more than required for the accomplishment of the goal.
Right to seek redressal. Right to seek redressal is one of the 6 consumers' rights under Section 6 of the Consumers Protection Act. Right to seek redressal means the right to demand redress in the events of unfair trade practices or market manipulation. It also requires the right to a just resolution of consumers' genuine grievances. Consumers must file a lawsuit whether they have legitimate complaints. Their complaints can be minor in nature, but their effect on society as a whole may be important. A consumer may contact the distinct forum, state commission or national commission if they believe their consumer rights have been violated. In addition, if the claimant is dissatisfied with the consumer's court decision, he can appeal to the High Court. It provides the consumer the right to redressal against unfair trade practices and also includes the right to fair settlement of the genuine grievances of the consumer. Consumer disputes redressal agencies, popularly known as consumer forums or consumer courts, are set up under the Act at district, state and national level to provide simple and inexpensive quick redressal against the consumer complaints. The consumer forum can order the company to take the following actions once it hears the complaint and decides that the company is at fault: correct deficiencies in the product to what they claim, repair defects free of charges, replace product with a similar or superior product, issue a fair refund of the price.
Right to consumer education. Consumers' education is a preparation of an individual to be capable of making informed decisions when it comes to purchasing products in a consumer culture. It generally covers various consumer goods and services, prices, what the consumer can expect, standard trade practices, etc. While consumer education can help consumers to make more informed decisions, some researchers have found that its effects can drop off over time, suggesting the need for continued education. New dimensions of consumer education are also beginning to emerge as people become more aware of the need for ethical consumerism and sustainable consumer behavior in our increasingly globalized society. Some points to be remembered are: first, do not get carried away by advertisements only or believe on the words of the seller. Second, consumer must insist on getting complete information on the quality, quantity, utility, price, etc. of the product or services. Third, ask for complete contact details of the consumer, grievance mechanism of the company the consumer wish to buy from.
Every consumer enjoys certain rights and the consumers have responsibilities too. Duties and responsibilities of consumer. What you need to know to be an informed consumer? Customer responsibilities are: ask yourself, be critically aware, be involved, be organized, practice sustainable consumption, be responsible to the environment. The first one is ask yourself. Have you faced any problem as a consumer? Have you ever complained when you have had such a problem? Do you know that you could seek the assistance of a consumer group to protect your interest? Then the second one is be critically aware. The responsibility to be more alert and to question more about prices, about quantity and quality of goods bought and services used. What is the real weight of 1 kg cake? Do you ever think about it? Is it really 1 kg? The third one is be involved. The responsibility to ascertain to ensure that you get a fair deal as a consumer. Remember, if you are passive, you are likely to be exploited. Then the fourth one is be organized. The responsibility to join hands and raise voices as consumers, to fight in a collective and to develop the strength and influence to promote and protect consumer interest. The fifth one is practice sustainable consumption. The responsibility to aware of the impact of your consumption on other citizens, especially the disadvantaged or powerless groups, and to consume based on needs, not wants. The sixth one is be responsible to the environment. The responsibility to be aware and to understand the environmental consequences of our consumption. We should recognize our individual and social responsibility to conserve natural resources and protect the earth for future generations.